Malaleko and good morning, everyone. My name is Travis Norris.
I'm Teklegiorgis.
I'm Jenn Gagner.
And I'm Erin Dixson.
Over the past 2 months, we've been working with MSR, formerly known as Men on the Side of the Road, to develop a green business opportunity for self-sustainability in Windhoek's informal settlements.
According to the 2014 Namibia Labor Force Survey, 27% of Namibians are unemployed, the majority being unskilled workers. About half of Namibia's population lives in urban areas because many people move from rural to urban areas in search of better job opportunities, but often do not find them. Due to this rapid urbanization has caused informal settlements such as Katatura to form.
MSR is a non-profit organization that was established in 2007. Their goal is to reduce unemployment by offering training and job connections. MSR mainly works with individuals from Katatura. Many people come into MSR with existing manual labor skills and some education. Once they become members, they're given training in general employee skills, communication, money management, and other professional skills. However, MSR does not have enough funding to provide all their members with job-specific training. Because of this, they're working to create low-cost employment opportunities.
Many people in Katatura are self-employed, and one of the most common ways of self-employment is starting a business in the informal sector. This could be things such as making clothes or kapana, as shown here. MSR encourages its members to start their own businesses. In fact, recently they trained a group of members in entrepreneurial skills, but they had not yet started their own businesses.
This is one of those members, Sarah Teal, explaining the importance of self-employment in Namibia.
So just to encourage youth in Namibia, so they must always do something with their own hands. If you are not educated or not certificated, try to look at your hands. You come and do something so that you can get your bread to eat.
The goal of our project is to assist MSR in developing a business opportunity for men and women like Sarah Teal to create marketable products from recycled materials.
MSR members are not formally employed and often do not have the money to start their own business. We were tasked with creating a product from recycled materials because recycled materials are readily available at little to no cost. MSR had oil drums available and informed us that plastic bags, pallets, and tires are commonly discarded in Katatura and Windhoek. MSR also has a workshop available for the members to use to manufacture their products. At this workshop, there are hand tools available for the members to manufacture the products.
In our preparation term, we compiled a list of 38 recycled products, ranging from plastic bag beads to oil drum brides. We chose these products from do-it-yourself websites, and each idea had a set of instructions on how to create the product. The products we chose also required few additional materials and could be made with skills common among MSR members. Once we arrived in Windhoek, we discussed all of these project ideas with MSR personnel in order to narrow down the list to 11 products. MSR personnel had a great understanding of Katatura and Windhoek, and their recommendations helped us reduce the number. Next, we conducted a qualitative analysis to narrow down the products to a list of 3 final products. We'll talk a little bit more about this qualitative analysis in a minute. Once we had our 3 final products, we worked with MSR members to prototype these products and test their production viability. We refer to these MSR members, these 5 MSR members that we worked with, as producers because they are interested in producing the products and starting their own businesses. After we finished prototyping, we created recommendations for sales strategies and production plans in order to help the members make and sell the products.
To do this qualitative analysis, to go from 11 products to 3, we evaluated each potential product based on 5 categories. Those were consumer interest, required tools, amount of materials, producer interest, and required skills. We developed these categories with the help of our sponsor and used a pairwise comparison to weight each of these categories. This pairwise comparison compares the different categories based on which one is preferred. So we found that customer interest and required tools were the most heavily weighted.
To evaluate customer interest, we focused on 3 target markets: tourists, Katatora residents, and Windhoek residents. To understand the tourist market, we observed craft stalls and took notes on the types of products that they sold. In order to get information on the Katatora market, we conducted a focus group with MSR members based on a recommendation from our sponsor. We did this because most MSR members are from Katatora. During the focus group, we asked for their feedback about our potential products. Finally, in order to understand the Windhoek market, we visited 4 weekend markets in Windhoek and conducted oral customer surveys. Erin will talk more about these customer surveys.
At the 4 Windhoek weekend markets, we conducted an oral survey of 27 customers. We showed these customers pictures of our 11 products and asked them whether they liked or disliked the products. The customers could choose as many products as they wanted to talk about. On this graph, the blue bars represent the number of customers that liked a product, and the yellow bars represent the number of customers that disliked the product. For example, the mobile braai, 12 people liked the mobile braai because braaiing is very popular in Namibia. 2 people disliked the mobile braai because they thought it was too large and too difficult to transport. From this survey, we determined that the pallet table was the most widely liked product, followed by the mobile braai, the pet bed, and the tire chairs.
We also evaluated the required tools based on looking at the do-it-yourself instructions. So we looked at each product and determined if it required power tools because the MSR members only have hand tools available for use. If an item did not require power tools, then it exceeded our expectations of a viable product. An example of this is the plastic bag beads, which do not require any power tools. If an item could be made with or without power tools, then it met our expectations of a viable product. For example, the pallet table, which can be made with hand tools but improved by using power tools. If a product required power tools to construct, then it failed our expectations of a viable product. An example of this is the mobile braai, which needs welding equipment.
After we evaluated all 5 categories: customer interest, required tools, amount of materials, producer interest, and required skills, we conducted a Pew analysis to choose 3 final products for prototyping. The Pew analysis is a qualitative analysis used to rank possible solutions based on weighted criteria. A higher score indicates a more favorable solution. In this chart, you can see the beads, the pallet table, and the tire chair are the 3 highest scores. The beads exceeded our expectations in required skills, required tools, and amount of materials, while the pallet table and tire chair both exceeded our expectations in producer and customer interest.
We worked alongside the 5 producers in order to prototype these 3 final products and to determine their production viability. We first met with the producers to schedule 5 days for prototyping. On the first 2 days, we worked hand in hand with the producers and took pictures and notes during prototyping. For the last 3 days, the producers worked on their own to make the products, and we were available if they had any questions. This allowed them to practice making the products by themselves and still have access to our team for assistance.
On these first 2 days of prototyping, Travis worked with 2 producers to make the pallet table, Jenn worked with 3 producers to make the tire chairs, and Hari and myself prototyped the plastic bag beads because the producers were more interested in making furniture than the beads. When we were making the pallet table, we noticed that sanding the wood took much longer than expected and much more sandpaper than expected. The tire chairs would have been much easier to produce had a power drill been accessible for us to use. And the plastic bag beads were the most difficult to prototype. We failed several times before creating one successful bead.
Despite these challenges, we were able to prototype 2 pallet tables, and we found that it took 1.5 pallets to make 1 table. And on average, it took just over 10 man-hours to complete making a table. We also manufactured 1 tire chair, which took 1 tire and half a pallet to make the back and the legs. It took about 16.5 man-hours to complete making 1 tire chair. When we prototyped the beads, it took 1 person 10 to 15 minutes to make 1 bead. And as Erin mentioned, it was difficult to make the beads, even though we had assumed that they required less skill. The producers were also more interested in making the furniture. As a result, we determined that the beads are not viable and we did not continue producing them.
In order to help the 5 producers transition from prototyping to starting their own business, we provided recommendations in the form of a production plan and a sales strategy. The production plan included instructions on how to create the pallet table and the tire chairs, as well as options for transportation suggested by MSR personnel, and sources for materials based on how we gather materials for prototyping. The sales strategy included methods for advertising to customers, suggestions of selling to Katatura and Windhoek residents as target customers, and suggested prices for selling the products based on the amount of time required and the cost of materials. For target customers, we chose not to include tourists because it's a little difficult to fit a table into a suitcase. We'll talk a little bit more about the production methods, the production instructions, and advertising methods.
We used the photos and notes that we took during prototyping to create a set of production instructions for the table and the chair. These instructions included photos of the product as well as the materials and tools needed to construct it. It also included step-by-step instructions for how to build the product.
To gather insight on advertising, MSR connected us with 3 entrepreneurs to interview: a kapana seller, a welder, and a taxi driver. During these interviews with the entrepreneurs, they provided insight on how to reach customers and on advice for future entrepreneurs. Hari and myself also interviewed Team Namibia to understand how they support entrepreneurs in Katatura. Team Namibia is a non-governmental organization that supports the use of local products and organizations through advertising. In 2016, Team Namibia started a project that helped entrepreneurs in Katatura and to develop their businesses. Team Namibia gave us insight on advertising methods based on what they've learned from this project.
We use these entrepreneur interviews and use the information to recommend advertising methods. These methods include giving out business cards, selling in busy locations, using word of mouth, and using social media for advertising. We created a sample business card for the producers to use, as shown in this picture. Team Namibia also recommended selling products in busy locations, such as the high-traffic depot where the kapana seller works, to get customers. Additionally, Team Namibia and the welder expressed the importance of word of mouth for advertising. This is because most Namibians are influenced by recommendations they get from their family or friends. Finally, we learned from Team Namibia that in Windhoek, Facebook is the most widely used form of social media. MSR also has a Facebook page where producers can post pictures and information. This is a picture of the prototypes that we posted on the MSR Facebook page for sale.
As Travis mentioned, we created a production plan for the tables and chairs, and these included recommendations for transporting materials and products, as well as gathering materials. However, we realized that these recommendations are incomplete, and MSR could continue to form these plans by creating a more reliable source of transportation and a steady supply of materials. This project could also be promoted to MSR members to recruit more producers. It is a low-cost and wide-reaching opportunity, and many of the MSR members have the skills to succeed in making furniture. We, along with MSR, would like the MSR producers to work on these aspects as well and take charge of their businesses. We want them to take charge of their business, and the entrepreneurs that we interviewed emphasized that starting a business would be difficult, but that it is going to help them become self-sustainable and independent in the future.
We'd like to acknowledge everyone who helped us in this project, particularly our sponsor liaison, Ms. Crystal Bukes, who is the MSR CEO, for her advice and guidance, as well as Mr. Thomas Shalongo and Ms. Lilia Kambanda for their continued help in the office as tour guides, as translators, and just daily resources, as well as our project advisors, both here and at home, and all of our colleagues here in Namibia for making it an awesome experience. Here are the references we've used in this presentation. And thank you all for coming this morning. Please let us know if you have any questions.